News 2 celebrates Black History Month. Tonight, we highlight Oaklands Mansion, a piece of history in Rutherford County that not only serves as a tourist site, but the place dozens of enslaved people once lived. News 2's Corey Johnson with the story.
Every generation dies and they take their history with them. So unless they share that, it's kind of like, to me, they just didn't exist.
Oaklands Mansion on North Maney Avenue opened in the late 1800s when Dr. James Maney and his wife, Sally Murphy Maney, moved to Murfreesboro from North Carolina. In 1813, Sally inherited the 274 acres. The Maney family moved to the home, forcibly taking 18 enslaved people with them, a document from the Williamson County probate noting their value.
As a little girl, I heard my grandmother and her sister always say in proud moments that we're Maney girls. Well, that didn't mean a lot to me as a kid. But as I grew up, I realized they were talking about the relationship they had with the Maney family here.
About 3 generations of enslaved families would go on to live, work, and die at Oaklands, including the ancestor of Murfreesboro native Elma McKnight.
My great-great-grandfather was a blacksmith here at Oaklands Mansion, and his name was David Maney. I'm not sure if he just took the name of his former slave owners or if he actually had blood ties.
Staff now work to preserve the Oaklands Mansion and grounds, interpret the history that happened there, serve as a heritage tourism destination, and provide an educational experience. News 2 also sat down with the mansion's director, James Manning, who says that experience has now been extended by expanding on the knowledge, especially through pictures incorporated in the house of those enslaved prior to emancipation. This is despite having little records.
The grand mansion and the lifestyle that was lived here was built on the back of enslaved people, and if we stop talking about them, then their lives can be forgotten. Having the conversation is very important. A conversation doesn't have to be easy for it to be valuable. I would love to say that we have any diaries, journals, or first-hand records from the enslaved. We don't. Also from the white family members that lived within the mansion, we don't have the plantation diary or journals.
By 1840, the Maneys had nearly 100 enslaved people living on the estate. It was around that time James Maney would break up several families by moving most of his large-scale cash crop operations to the Mississippi Delta, a site of not only pain but triumph. During the Civil War, both Union and Confederate troops camped on the grounds. On July 13, 1862, Lieutenant General Nathan Bedford Forrest led a raid on the Union troops that ultimately ended in his surrender. Much of what is known about the enslaved from the property is thanks to research collected by Audrey Creel and the Untold Stories of the Maney Family Slaves Project she started 5 years ago.
I looked predominantly at the 1870 census because that's the first census that lists African Americans by name. You're looking at this name and there's a whole lifetime worth of history to tell that has just been lost to the generations today. That also, though, made it a lot sweeter when you did find those little nuggets.
It's a painful past many, like Elma, have worked to reckon with.
I was born in segregation, and so it stung. So there was a sense of pride, but also a sense of resentment that, this had happened to my family. To me, it represented everything I wanted to forget about the past, about my ancestors being enslaved here. But as an adult, as I grew more conscious of my heritage.
For Elma, this is important Black history, not only serving to honor those enslaved, but a reminder to never forget.
It's not just for a certain group of people, but it's for everybody interested in the history of this community.
Corey Johnson, News 2.